Hello guys, happy Sunday afternoon if you're watching this live, and welcome back to my channel if you're watching this on the replay. So I'm responding to a question that a fellow demo posed to me. Actually, she messaged me on Facebook and said, what type of glue gun do you use? Can I, yeah. So I responded, and then I sort of said, well, you know what, it might be easier if I just do a little bit of a video about how to use a hot glue gun and kind of answer any questions that you may have, if you've got any, if anyone comes in on the live chat. I can answer any questions that you have about a hot glue gun. So first of all, why do I use a hot glue gun? I don't use it all the time. It's mainly for when I need to do some quick sticking down. If I'm doing lots of paper flowers, then I tend to use it. So then the second question you may ask is, right, well, what type of glue gun would you get? What, there's so many on the market, what would you get? Now, personally, this is pretty much the only gun I have had experience with. It's probably the cheapest one that you can purchase from a hardware store, or we call them hardware stores, or DIY store, that kind of thing. And I do know that on the market you can get ones that are specifically for paper crafting, perhaps with a thinner nozzle, and some that are called cool hot glue guns, which I don't quite understand what the point of a cool hot glue gun is. I think it's that the glue melts at a lower temperature so that you're less likely to kind of maybe hurt yourself. As you can see, I've got my silicone mat here from Stampin' Up. Now, I don't always use a silicone mat. Sometimes I just use a scrap piece of card and just basically leave that on it. This glue gun has a little metal thing that pokes out like that, and you can kind of rest it if you want to. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, basically it rests. You do need to have something to protect your surface, because when it's heated up, little drips of hot glue will drip down from the nozzle. So in effect, what a hot glue gun does is it has a heating element in this section here, and then what you do is you get these glue sticks and you push them in, and when you push this trigger down, it pushes this plastic thing here, and it pushes the sticks through. Okay, so in effect, what is happening is the cold glue that's here, that is solid, then melts into a liquid at this point here. You then put that onto your paper or card, and you quickly place it down and stick it, and it then sticks together. Now, I don't recommend that you use hot glue gun for sticking together items that are not porous. So sometimes I've seen people using it to stick metal on metal, like with jewellery and things. It does not work. It will eventually, once the glue cools down and becomes brittle, because the glue is just sort of sitting on top of the metal, it will just pull apart. So I do not recommend that you use hot glue gun for sort of metallic items. Like, for example, in the past I may have used it for sticking embellishments on, and if the embellishment is very shiny, then you run the risk of it popping off later on. So I do not recommend that you do that. There's other types of sticky glues on the market if you want to do that. So as I was saying, the main use I have for it is paper flowers. The silicone mat is jolly useful because, as you can see, as the glue cools down, you're able just to remove the excess glue there, and that will just completely clean off my silicone mat, whereas you could not do that if this was a piece of cardboard. You'd end up having to throw it all away. So it's up to you if you want to have a silicone mat dedicated to your hot glue gun, but you really don't have to. I mean, I will clean this off and then reuse this if I need to use this for doing watercolour or whatever else I might use this mat for. So that's that. So that's just the practicalities. Popping my bin over. So when it comes to actually sticking items together, I do recommend that you have pretty much everything ready. So I've already pre-punched out some petals using the balloon balloon punch. I nearly called it a balloon flower punch. So hello everybody that's watching, do say hi. I did see someone come in. Who's that? Rebecca from Texas. Hi Rebecca. Oh look, you can see my face in the reflection there. Haha, isn't that funny? Hi Kay. And so I've already pre-punched some things out, so I've done that with a balloon punch, which I think they secretly, Stampin' Up secretly knew that we'd end up using this as a flower. And what else have I used? Oh, the triple flower petal thing here, and some daisies. So I'm going to make a really kind of elaborate, pretty flower and do that in front of you. The other benefit of having the silicone mat is that actually you can stick things to it and then peel it off later if you want to, which I might try doing. I mean, sometimes I would say, oh, you need a circle and then stick things to a circle, but let's try it. Let's see if it works. So here I have my balloon flowers, or petals rather, and I've already curled them a little bit. And I didn't have my bone fold at hand, so I just used the curved section of my scissors there, like that, and that just helped give it a bit of curl there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll go with 6 there. So I wanted to just glue things in front of you, so I just managed to drop a petal, because sometimes when I talk to people who've used hot glue guns in the past, they get very frustrated and say, oh, I just end up with all these little stringy webby bits. And so what I want to show you is how to not get those stringy webby bits, how you can use the gun in a certain way so that doesn't happen. So there's a couple of things that you can do. So the first thing you can do is when you're applying the glue, you push on the nozzle that allows the glue to come out, and then before you draw away, you do a little tiny circle to stop that stringy bit forming, because the only reason that stringy bit comes along is when you pull away from the paper, and I'll show you what happens. Look, if you pull away like this, ooh, get some more glue, come on. When you pull away like this, because it hasn't melted, this is still cooling down, and all it's doing is pulling more and more and more glue from here, and that is why you end up with these stringy bits. So you need to break it off. So if you do that little circular motion like that, it breaks it off, and then you don't end up with that stringy bit. So I'm just going to pop that one on top of it. Now, it is hot, okay? It's a hot glue gun. It's not called a hot glue gun for no reason. So as soon as that glue comes out, it is hot. If you get it on your skin, oh, you're so right. My silicone finger protector, I do have it somewhere. Oh, you're so right. My dear friend Linda Kasparian gave me a silicone glue finger protector. Oh gosh, well pointed out, Kay. I hope Linda's not going to watch this. I don't know where it is, to be quite honest, and I want to get on with a video, so I'm not going to do that. But a tip, if you don't have a silicone glue protector, if you don't have a friend called Linda to give you a silicone glue protector, silicone hand finger protector, you can use your mat. So instead of pushing down on that directly with my finger, I could get my mat, push down like that, and that would protect your fingers, and then you can just peel that off. Naughty Ruth, not using her protector. There we go. I'll show you that again. Pop the glue on like that. Wind it off, pop it down, make sure you don't touch it, push down with the mat like that. Ooh, and then give it a moment to cool down. So if you're pulling away and it's still sticky, it means that it hasn't cooled down enough. So you just have to let it cool down for a little bit longer, and then it will pull away really easily. There we go, like that. So I've got my 3 pieces there, which makes it easier then to stick all that together. So the other way that you can make sure you don't have stringy bits is by pushing into, like, oh, did you see that? You push in. I'll do that again. Ooh, there we go. Put that there. So you can just push your glue gun in and almost swipe away, but that is still, sometimes it leaves you stringy bits. I think my little circular motion method is probably a little bit easier. There we go. And it's not to say you'll never get them, but it kind of reduces the risk. Right, so the other thing I've done is I've punched out 3 of these petals here. I'm going to use a little bit of glue because I'm running the risk of really building up quite a few layers of glue here, so I'm just going to put a little less on. Stick like that. There we go. And that's going to form the inside of that. Now, if you're interested in the colours that I've used Blushing Bride for the petals and Powder Pink. Is that right? Not powder pink. What do I want? Petal pink. Petal pink for the middle there. I wanted very subtle colour changes. And then I've got soft sea foam here for the daisies that I'm going to do as a centre. I wanted it to be like a centre kind of very frothy piece. Hi Maria, lovely to see you. Okay, so again, I know this is going to get a little bit tedious for you guys just to keep seeing me do this, but I hope it's going to sink in and that you're going to get really confident with using your hot glue gun. I'm just putting lots of little movements. And you can either put the glue onto what you're sticking, or you can put it onto the thing that you're sticking on. It's up to you. You'll find your kind of rhythm of working. You know, each person is different how they like to work. Sometimes it just changes midway. There's no right or wrong way. But certainly I hope the little tips and techniques will help you not get too frustrated with your hot glue gun. Incidentally, the little glue, these glues are really available from, you know, again, DIY stores and things. Hi, Callie, and hi, Maria, watching live. Thank you for joining me. So once it's all kind of stuck down, I mean, I can feel it's still a little bit warm. So if something's still warm, it means that the glue is not completely solid. So don't play around with it too much. But I can feel now that that is pretty solid. So I can start playing with that if I wanted to. So I'm going to just bring over my big flower here and stick that one on into the centre there. First time watching, Katie Callery. I thought I read it wrong. Sorry, I thought it said Callie. Katie Callery. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. So if this is the first time you've seen one of my videos and you like what you see, then please do think about subscribe. I'm trying to move this out of the way. There's a bit of darkness coming in here. Do subscribe because I do have lots of other paper flower videos. If you go and have a look at one of my playlists, there is a paper flowers one, because I love flowers. I love paper flowers. So and then if you want to know how to purchase some of this beautiful coloured cardstock, then head to my shop. The link will be in the description below. And there we have it. There we go. It's a really pretty paper flower. Okay, and that's all been stuck with hot glue gun. Now you're more than welcome to have a go sticking it with Tombow, which is the glue that we sell through Stampin' Up. It just would maybe perhaps take a little bit longer for it to all set and stick. Yeah, if you're going to be making lots of these, as usually one would end up doing if you're perhaps doing a bouquet or, you know, a frame or something like that, then the hot glue gun certainly helps to cut down time on that. Hi Jenny, nice to see you. Right, does anyone have any other questions regarding the hot glue gun? Thank you, Kate. Yeah, my shop is artfulstampin.co.uk. Do you want to see me play with making something else, or? Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you for your lovely comments. I'll leave that there. Let's have a look. What about doing a really nice bright flower? Incidentally, I keep all my scraps in bags like this, and I put the name of the colour on the bag. And then if I'm making things like this, I go straight to my scrap drawer straight away, so I'm not cutting into a whole piece of cardstock. Just cut off these bits. Actually, I could show you another way of putting the petals together to create a slightly different flower. Sorry about this, I should have prepped this before. 1, 2, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Might just grab another couple out of here. The other thing you can do before assembling, if you want a much more kind of textured flower, I did have a go with one of these petals, just trying to rough them up a lot so that it's not such a clean edge, as it were. You can do that. If you guys have got questions, please message me. If you're watching this on the replay, please message me as well if you have any questions regarding what you've just seen. Oops. There we go. Who owns a glue gun? Has anyone got one already? Is it something that you're thinking of purchasing? It's a shame I can't sell you any because Stampin' Up don't sell them. But I do recommend, if you are planning on making lots of paper flowers, it's worth the investment. If you are somebody who's about to get married and you're interested in making bouquets and things, please do message me if you have any questions, because I have customers that are what GSM am I using? I think the Stampin' Up one is about 280, I believe. If you're online, can you just quickly look that up for me? Someone is bound to find that information. If no one does it in this chat, I'll put it in the messages below. It's a really nice. You've got a cordless one. Ah, that's interesting. I wonder what that one's like. It's thick enough to be a card base if you're making a greetings card, but it's not so thick that the punches can't punch through. So I personally find it a really lovely weight. And the other thing about it is that if you really rough this paper up, because it is such good quality, it actually has 2 or 3 layers to it. If you're careful, you can thank you. Oh, hi Janice. Thank you, Janice. It's 270 GSM. If you rough it up, look what you can do. You can actually take the paper apart, and I love the effect of that. It looks like kind of suede, and if you put ink, sponge ink on top of that, it makes it even more interesting. So if you like that kind of look, it's worth roughing these up. So for example, I would like really rough this up and peel these apart. But I'm not doing that now. I want to show you another little technique that you can do with the balloon die, just to make them a little bit more shapely. So what you can do is you can cut to about the halfway mark. Actually, put 2 together. There we go. And so this just requires a tiny little bit of glue. Do not need very much. So I'm literally stroking that on and then folding that over. And you can see how that's created a kind of cup. And you can experiment with the depths in which you do that, because the further you go over, the deeper the cup will be. Oh, were you, Janice? Oh, there we go. Oh, this is timely then. Yeah, so this glue gun is literally the cheapest one that you could probably find. It's less than £5. Please don't buy anything more than that, because you really don't. It's basic. It really is a basic tool, and I think yeah, it doesn't need to be expensive. The other useful thing about having the silicone mat is that if glue gets a bit stuck on, can you see all this glue that's on here? And now it's on, it's kind of melting it a little bit. You can kind of get your silicone mat. I do recommend you get one of these from Stampin' Up. You can use that to kind of start peeling, if you really are fussy and you want a clean glue gun, you can use your mat to get that off. Ah, so Janice has been making paper flowers as well. How cool. Was that with the balloon punch? There we go. I'm just going to get in there and build. And this time I'm going to have the petals going downwards, not upwards. And that's fun to experiment with. Do you have your petals up? Do you have petals down? Which way are you going to curl them? You know, just play. We're making fantasy flowers. They don't have to be based in reality right now. Oh yes, the new washi tape. Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? I've not got any, but I've seen some lovely things on Pinterest with people making them. The other thing I would say get hold of is a pair of tweezers. Those are super useful. Right, I think I'm going to just chop off these little bits here because we don't really need those. Okay. And just going to put a tiny wee bit of glue there. Pop that onto there. Oh, I was going to do the other way around, wasn't I? That way. Okay, stick that together. And it's fun to play with different number combinations of petals. So, you know, like 4 petals, 5 petals, 6 petals, 8 petals. You know, have a play, because when you actually start looking at flowers in nature, you know, there's so many variations. I mean, they all have petals, but, you know, obviously size and shape, but also, you know, how they kind of work in terms of how they rotate. So if anyone knows about like the Fibonacci sequence, look that up, please. It's interesting to see how that all works as well. And when you kind of start having an understanding of that, it's kind of easier to then recreate stuff yourself. So there we go. I think that will be nice. So I've just got to put a bit of glue there and there. I'm going to stick these opposite each other. But these I'm having facing upwards. That opposite. And there we go. Right, I'm just going to set that aside to cool for a second and work on these daisies. And now this is why I say tweezers are really helpful, because I don't like flat petals. All right, I'm sorry, I just don't generally. So I like to put a bit of texture onto there. Oh, Maria, you're a new subscriber. Oh, fantastic. Well, please do share my channel out with anybody that you think might like it, because I do look at my analytics, and a lot of my viewers aren't subscribers. And so I know people might get bored of me going, please subscribe, please subscribe. It just makes it a bit more useful for how my videos get seen, you see. So please do subscribe, because yeah, it just kind of works. And while you're at it, Janice, if you put some emojis up, do follow Janice. She's a demonstrator in Scotland, and she makes some beautiful cards. Do subscribe to her too. And if you're a demonstrator on here that has a YouTube channel, please do send up some emojis, do a little shout out, and people can come and have a look at what you do. Yes, hi Christine. Oh yeah, you're watching. This is for you, my dear. It was Christine that messaged me. So there we go. So if you haven't caught the beginning of it, Christine, you'll have to just go back and watch what I've done. Oh, you watched Janice already, Maria? Oh, wonderful. Oh, it's lovely. Little community we've got going this Sunday afternoon. I don't normally do things on a Sunday, because Sunday's a day of rest. But for me, this is a little bit of rest and relaxation as well. So I thought, okay, I don't think the Lord will mind me coming on here and having a chat to you lot. Right, so, oh, I forgot to show you what I was doing. I got carried away. Right, the tweezers are for creating texture into the daisy. So I'm just popping it in like that, and I'm kind of just giving it a squeeze and a twist. And that just puts that little bit of a fold into there. And that just helps to make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, now the other thing that you can do with these is also to curl the petals as well, which I might do actually in a second. I'll just show you how to do that, because that adds another layer of texture and dimension. I know I say the word texture a lot, but it's because I do like it. Oh, was it Janice? So you two know each other then? Are you in the same team? small world, hey. Right, I'm actually going to stick it all down first, and then I will show you how to do the curling. So a little bit of glue, stick that down, a bit of glue, a bit more glue, put that down. Oh, well, there we go. What, you two have met? Or we have met? Oh, you've met Christine many times. Ah, lovely. Right, so this is the other thing that you can do with the tweezers, is actually, can you see I'm rolling that petal? Look. Rolling it in. Sorry, the lighting in here is not brilliant. It's got very overcast. We had a beautiful day here yesterday. It was so sunny. And then today has just suddenly become a bit overcast. I hung some washing out yesterday, and I had to send my son out. I was like, go get that washing in, because I can feel like it's getting damp and it's going to rain. And thank you, Janice. Yes, humid. Oh my goodness, yes. I'm actually sitting here in a vest top. Look, you see how that's curling over? It kind of reminds me of those really beautiful dahlias. Oops. Now, if you do make cards with these type of flowers on, I do recommend you make a card box to keep them in, because there's nothing worse than getting these squished in the post after you spent all this time shaping them. Okay, I don't want to do all of these. I'm just going to use my fingers actually. Ah, so you're a pootler. I did know that actually, Janice. Oh, I just pulled one off. Oh, look, see, love me not. There's so many petals though that I don't think it's going to matter. Janice is a pootler. So for those watching who don't understand what the heck I'm on about when I say she's a pootler, it's because as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you sign up under somebody else. And so there are various people, like some people have team names and things like that, so they get known as their kind of team name, which is really fun. So so people who sign up under Sam, because her name is Pootles online, they get known as pootlers. Whereas my girls, well, we used to be called the Daffodil Delights. Well, we are still called the Daffodil Delights, but I also have honorary Daffs. Kay's an honorary Daff. And when I say sign up, it means that you sign up to Stampin' Up, and you don't have to, you know, do what I do. You don't have to be, you know, start demonstrating on YouTube or anything. Basically, you've just got to be a super duper card maker that you want to get a bit of a discount, to be honest. And if you want to get into selling, then that's up to you. You can do that. But yes, you are. So yeah, Kay's under Sarah, who's a strawberry stamper, and then Kay's under. Oh, who are the pinkies? Oh, I do know her. Dear me, I've forgotten her name. Right, there we go. So that's going to sit inside my flower there like that. Michelle, that's it. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle's lovely. So it's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. Look at the difference between that there and that. So, oh, you're a pinky, Christine. Ah, lovely. So, da-da-da, look at that. I don't know whether to colour that. I don't know whether that needs another. I think that needs another layer. Yeah, it might do, but I don't know. I haven't got time for that right now. We can use other leaves. Hi, amazing me. We can stick it on a doily. Oh no, that doesn't show through. Oops. I'm just going through my scraps box because I was doing a scrap video the other day and I had to quickly rush off. So I've still got some bits and bobs to do a scrappy video, which I might need to do soon. Oh, look. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice, isn't it? It's almost oriental, quite oriental looking with the gold. Right, so if there's no more questions regarding glue guns, I think I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for your company, and I hope this was inspiring to you. And go and get your punches out, punch out a whole load of shapes. Now, incidentally, that technique that I used on the balloon there where I was cutting it, you can do that with circle punches as well. I do have a video way back when. If you look on my Paper Flowers playlist and see the frame that I made, it's really easy to do this with just circle punches. So don't think you have to have the balloon punch. You don't have to have what I have at all. You can even just cut shapes, you know, with scissors, good old scissors and paper and card. You don't have to have these fancy dancy punches to do this kind of thing. And the other thing you can do is if you don't have a daisy punch like this, let me just grab a strip of cardstock. Ooh, have a look. This is something fun that you can do. If you don't have one of those fancy dancy scissors that have like the 5 blades, you can do this. So you just get a piece of paper, and this is about 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 2.5 centimeters rather, about an inch wide. You can just cut a fringe with your scissors like this into it. Do as much as you need. I'm going to stop there. Just soften the edges a little bit. Well, not soften, break up the fibres a little bit. And then you can just roll it up and then put a little bit of glue like that. Just helps stick it along, or stick it in various places. But work fast, because when the glue cools down, it's solid. So there's nothing you can do with it then. There we go. So you can. So that could go in the centre instead if you wanted to. Now, if you don't want all that bulk, you need to just cut your fronds a little bit lower down. But you can kind of peel these back as well if you want to. It depends, Maria, it depends if you're likely to be using it a lot, I guess. If it's worth the investment. Yeah. Incidentally, if people do purchase through my shop, if you use the host code, I send you a little gift at the end of the month. So just to say thank you for shopping with me. Right, so that's an alternative if you haven't got the daisy punch. Right, Sizzix tweezers are great, Janice, apparently. There we go. Well, these ones, I don't know, I think I paid £2 or £3 for these, and they suit me fine. But yeah, Sizzix are a very good company. They do produce some amazing tools, cutting tools and things. Oh yes, there's another balloon. Yes, it's got 2, hasn't it? Yes. Yeah, if you're really getting into your paper flowers, then it is worth kind of the investment of getting the little punches and things. Yeah. I am dabbling with the idea of doing giant flowers. Okay, I really am quite keen to have a go doing some enormous ones. So I just need an occasion to make some for, because I don't want to waste a card. I'm a little bit frugal, so I need an occasion to make some giant flowers, because, you know, I'm talking like a piece of cardstock for each petal, and cardstock's, you know, it's not the cheap. Well, it's relatively inexpensive, but when you're making flowers on that scale, I want to have an occasion for it. So yeah, I'd like to do that. I've seen some lovely photos on Pinterest of people making these giant ones for babies' bedrooms and things. So, mind you, these would look quite nice. And then the other thing I thought was, how on earth do they attach them to the wall? And I think there must be some kind of like blue tacky type stuff that you can use that doesn't damage your wallpaper. So I'm on the lookout. If anyone can tell me what product that is, I'd love to hear from you, because I'd love to know how you can stick these to a wall and then take them back off again. So, right, well, thank you so much. Hope that has been helpful in terms of the hot glue gun. And as I said, you don't need anything too expensive. I mean, this says Amtech. I don't know if that's a thing. 10-watt glue gun, not expensive. And I just have my little glue sticks in a jar, you know, ready to go. And I start to get panicky if I run out of these. I need to have lots of these in the house. So if, you know, once I get down to about there, I buy another packet. Just in case I have a big project, because when you do a big project, you can go through these quite a lot. So there we go. Right, yes, do find Janice Kay. I think you'd like what she does. And lovely to see you all. And if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for sticking with me. And see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.